Carson Rain Beck.
Damn. You're just going to drop my phone name like that.
Oh, that's a good one. I love doing that. I love doing that. Good. Carson, man, first off, being SEC co-offensive player of the week, what does that mean to you?
Well, I just found out, literally 5 minutes ago. They told me before I came in here. But obviously that's a huge deal for me to have a game like that and then obviously be awarded that. Just grateful for it all.
What's it like? Obviously, a lot of people don't know what it's like to be the quarterback at the University of Georgia, now being in the position that you are. Can you kind of put into words what it means to be the quarterback at the University of Georgia?
Not really. I mean, I could try, but I think the thing for me is that position is something bigger than itself. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than the team. I mean, that's what Georgia football is. It's way bigger than that. There's so many fans, the organization. There's so many people around, all of it that trying to put it into words is extremely impossible. And I think you understand that more than anyone.
For sure. What do you think you've grown the most? You go back to UT Martin, which seems like a long time ago, to where you are now, head into your 7th game as a starter. What have you learned about yourself throughout this time about being the guy?
Most importantly, I think just the confidence aspect. That first game, I mean, I want to say that I was confident, but compared to where I'm at as far as my confidence level goes, I was not confident at all that first game. But that continues to build. And each week just looking for little things that I can improve on, understanding that no matter what the result is, we've been able to win every week up to this point, but there's always things that we can get better at, and we're constantly evolving as far as our offense goes.
Ask Coach Smart about what your makeup is, and he said, he's composed, he's poised, he's been in all these different spots, and I kind of knew what he was like, but didn't know how he would respond in some key moments. Where does that composure and poise and not really getting too high, be even keel, where does that come from?
I feel like just my whole entire life, all the experiences that I've been through, I played baseball, basketball, football. I've been in high school we won a state championship. In baseball, we went to state twice. I've been in a lot of high pressure moments that have kind of built me into the player that I am now.
Take me through what it was like last week, because you were in a crazy groove and, throwing it all over the yard, having great success. What's it like when you're in that moment and having that kind of success?
It feels like nothing can go wrong. And I'm sure you've had games where, it feels like, oh my gosh, can anything go right? But then the games where you feel like nothing can go wrong, you start feeling yourself. And then obviously I threw the pick and I was feeling myself a little bit too much there. But it happens as part of the game. We executed at a very high level and it's a lot of fun.
Take me through the relationship you have with your receivers, tight ends, linemen. As a quarterback, you have to kind of know what it takes for them to tick and to get them playing at a high level. What's it like to have that relationship, and how has it grown throughout, this season?
Yeah, I feel like I've always had a good relationship with all the guys on the team, and that's something that I've tried to pride myself on, is having good relationships with every player. But having those relationships kind of adds to the aspect of being a leader and understanding how different guys work, what makes different guys tick, especially I'll give an example, with different wide receivers. One guy, let's say he runs the wrong route, and I'm like, hey, man, it's good. Let's do this next time. He might react well to that and be like, okay, we're good. But then another guy might need, a little bit of, get on him a little bit, be like, hey, man, not again. Let's move forward this way. But having that connection piece with different players kind of helps that leadership role as well.
As a guy who's played for Coach Bobo and understands the demand that he puts on this position, one, what have you learned from him, and what has that relationship been like this year as you went from Todd Monken to obviously Coach Bobo? What have you learned from him, and also what is, the biggest thing that you take away from his style of coaching?
Yeah, he does demand a lot of me, and I really appreciate his trust that he's instilled in me. He trusts me with the ball. He puts the ball in my hands. That's a huge part with an offensive coordinator quarterback relationship, is having that trust factor. Especially this Saturday, he was dialing it up for sure. But one thing that he's done really well this season, I think, is as far as the scheme goes, scheming up different defenses and putting in the right plays for each week, and just based off of what defenses are going to try to do to us. And then also one thing that I've learned from him, is just to be confident out there, constantly improving, constantly evolving. And then the biggest thing as well is just protections and then different reads and how to read different things, because we've put a few new things into the offense. So just trusting in him that he knows what's going to happen with the defense, and then I just got to go out there and execute.
I've asked Coach Bobo this. I've asked Coach Schwartz this. We talked to Ty Key about it. Do you marvel at what number 19 does in a game? I mean, obviously you're the guy throwing him the rock, but then you see some of the stuff he does. Does any of it surprise you at all when you see this stuff happen on Saturdays?
I wouldn't say it surprises me, but it definitely is like, oh my gosh. Like sometimes my eyes just open. I'm like, this guy is just ridiculous. I'll say there's one play in particular, like which wasn't really anything crazy, but we had like a little RPO and he was on like a little like flat essentially. Just trying to get him the ball in space, and I throw it, and I probably shouldn't have thrown it based off the look, but then I was like, okay, it's Brock Bowers, so I'm gonna throw it, right? And then we ended up like missing a block or something. I'm like, if it's another guy, you know, it might be like a 3-yard gain, and like, okay, well 3-4 yard gain on first down, okay, we can get it back on second down, but he ends up taking it for like 15 on the sidelines, and I'm just like, that's insane.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, you go on the road this weekend, second road game of the year. Obviously a different environment than the last one we was at Auburn. What do you do to get yourself prepared for an earlier kickoff as opposed to having to sit around and wait for a 7 o'clock kickoff as you get ready for 11 o'clock in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I don't know if a lot of guys would agree with this, but I prefer to like wake up and just get it, like let's go, you know? Because like every time we play at night, like I try to replicate like a 12 o'clock game. So like all that time in the morning, like I don't even like count, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like once we hit 4 hours before the game, that's when like it's like the same thing every single time. Yeah. So I prefer to just wake up and get it going.
What's the key to this Vanderbilt defense? I know you guys are just starting to get into the preparation of it, but what's going to be key for you guys getting a win this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've watched very little. I mean, I've watched a few games yesterday, but we're going to have to take what they give us. And then obviously the biggest thing is just execution overall. Offensive line, if they can continue to play the way that they have been, being able to run it behind them. And then hopefully if they step up, you know, executing, hitting our shots. If they're taking it away, taking the check down. I think that's super important as we move into this game.
Appreciate you, bro.